While staying at his remote cabin, James heard a weak voice echo through the pines. When he followed the sound, he discovered a starving Apache child, barely 6 years old, trapped beneath branches and too weak to speak. Maya rushed to help. Together, they wrapped the boy in blankets, fed him warm soup, and stayed awake through the night to make sure he breathed steadily. For 4 days, the child slept, recovered, and whispered only one thing. Home. Then, on the 5th morning, as snow melted on the porch, 3 Apache women appeared at the door, exhausted, shivering, and terrified. The oldest one spoke first. "You saved our child. We searched every canyon." What James and Maya did next stunned everyone in town. They not only reunited the boy with his family, they launched a program that supported lost and endangered Native American children across Arizona. The story went viral across the country. From a girl abandoned by her own family, to a millionaire who refused to walk away, to a child who brought 2 worlds together. Maya followed James into the warmth of the SUV, still unsure if trusting a stranger was the right choice, but desperation left her with few options. The heater blasted softly, warming her frozen fingers as she clutched the paper cup of hot chocolate he handed her. She whispered her name, barely loud enough to hear over the hum of the road. James didn't push for details. He simply drove with calm patience, every so often glancing her way to make sure she hadn't drifted into fear. For the first time in hours, Maya's shoulders began to relax just a little. As they approached the mountains, the world outside turned darker, quieter, the city lights fading behind them. Maya wondered where he was taking her, but she sensed no danger, only a steady, reassuring presence. James told her he owned a small cabin outside Flagstaff where he often escaped the chaos of business life. He offered it as a temporary refuge until she figured out her next steps. Maya stared at him, surprised anyone would help her without expecting anything in return. His kindness felt unreal, almost suspicious, yet comforting. When they arrived, the air was colder than she expected, carrying the scent of pine and snow. The cabin glowed warmly from within, and Maya couldn't remember the last time she had stepped into a place that felt this safe. James showed her the guest room, set fresh blankets on the bed, and placed a small tray with water and snacks nearby. "Rest," he said gently. "You don't owe me anything." His voice held no pity, only sincerity. Maya nodded, fighting the urge to cry again. She slept deeper that night than she had in months, waking to sunlight dripping through the wooden blinds. The forest outside the window looked endless, serene, untouched. James was on the porch, speaking quietly on the phone about meetings he had put on hold. When he saw her, he hung up immediately and offered breakfast already warm on the table. Maya ate slowly at first, unsure if it was really okay to accept so much, but hunger eventually softened her hesitation. Gratitude swelled in her chest. Later that afternoon, James suggested a short walk through the woods near the cabin, telling her the trails helped him clear his mind. Maya agreed, both to show appreciation and to escape her thoughts. The forest felt like a world apart. Cold air slicing gently across her cheeks, tall pines swaying with the breeze, the distant crackle of snow melting under weak winter sunlight. She hadn't realized how heavy the past had been until she breathed that crisp mountain air. Her steps became lighter with every passing minute. They followed a narrow trail leading deeper into the trees. James walked slowly, giving Maya space, answering her questions about the woods and his work without ever turning the conversation toward her pain. She appreciated that. But just as they rounded a sharp bend near a stretch of fallen logs, a sound drifted through the quiet, a faint, trembling cry, so soft Maya almost thought she imagined it. She froze. James's head snapped up instantly, his eyes narrowing. "You heard that too, right?" he asked. Maya nodded, fear prickling her spine. Without hesitation, James moved toward the sound, his footsteps careful but urgent. Maya followed closely, heart pounding in her chest. The cry grew clearer, fragile, almost swallowed by the wind. They climbed over a mound of broken branches when suddenly Maya gasped. Beneath a fallen tree, half covered in dirt and leaves, lay a small child. His face was pale, lips dry, eyes barely open. He couldn't have been more than 6 years old. Maya dropped to her knees, brushing debris away from his cheeks, her hands shaking. "Oh my God, he's alive," she whispered. James knelt opposite her, already assessing the situation with calm focus. He slid his arms carefully under the child's small body, checking for broken bones. The boy whimpered softly, too weak to speak, his fingers clutching at James's jacket as if begging silently not to be left behind. "We've got you," James murmured. His voice carried the same steadiness he had shown Maya, but there was urgency in his movements now. The forest felt colder, heavier, as though time itself held its breath for the little boy's fate. They rushed back to the cabin, James carrying the child against his chest, Maya clearing the path ahead to avoid more obstacles. Inside, she heated water while James wrapped the boy in blankets. They gave him tiny sips of warm broth, careful not to overwhelm his fragile body. The boy's eyes fluttered with exhaustion, but he seemed comforted by their presence. Every few minutes he murmured a single word, home, as though clinging to the idea of safety he had lost. Maya felt her heart tighten. She knew what it felt like to have nowhere to go. Hours passed as they cared for him, taking turns watching his breathing. Night settled over the cabin, yet neither of them slept. Maya sat beside the child, studying his delicate features, wondering what horrors had led him into the freezing woods alone. James remained alert near the fire, his protective instincts stronger than she had seen before. In the quiet glow of the cabin, Maya realized something profound. She wasn't the only one who needed saving. The forest had brought them all together for a reason, one that neither of them yet understood, but the echo of that faint cry had already changed everything.